Mukaramani, as he is known in the streets of Huruma leading to Matha. Informal settlements in Nairobi would be a perfect spot to cite him. Wilson Kuria was born of Komao and Wamboi on the 12th day of July 1949 in Githiga Location 9, Kanjima, Fort Hall, now Murange County. In his boyhood, Mau Mau uprising was taking shape and eventually a guerrilla warfare broke out and Kuria's parents willingly drafted as active Mau Mau fighters. They would later be arrested and locked up in various colonial prisons. By then Kuria, a young boy, was reared by his grandmother. In mid-50s, Kuria's uncle Elias Kaka Waluas was a rookie guitarist and later would perform Kikuyu folk songs and at times give his audience a piece of his original compositions. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to record any of his songs, but he passed his rare art to nephew Wilson. He skillfully taught Kuria how to play the guitar, and when he was satisfied that he had become adept, he gifted him his prized tool of trade, the guitar, sometime around 1957, hoping he would venture into music in the future. Kuria was so passionate and loved the newly taught guitar playing skills that he would spend a whole day playing on top of their village hill that the village folks named him Mukaramani, which loosely translates to a person of the hill. It's from this nickname that he got his stage name from, the famous Mukaramani. Faced by the usual challenges of a kid growing up with parents, Mukaramani was not privileged to get formal education. Although the colonial government had made education free for every child, it required each to be registered by their parents, and Mukaramanis were nowhere to be seen. To sustain him and his granny's livelihood, the young Mukaramani was employed as a herdsman in Munanga village and later in Maragua Ridges in a white settler farm. He never left his guitar behind when he switched locations, a telltale he was falling in love with music. Mukaramani would later sign with the Presidential Music Band in 1963 as a drummist or guitarist and remembers vividly performing alongside Nyakinyua troopers for Kenya's founding father Mzee Jomo Kenyatta when he visited Fort Hall Murange. Mukaramani would grow restless and wanted to plunge himself into the world outside Murange. His destination was Thika town, where he worked in a hotel as a waiter, where he decided to venture into charcoal business in the same town. Over time he relocated to Karura Forest, where settlements were springing up, but due to Wangari Maathai activism to save the forest, they had no option but to relocate. Nairobi City Council, led by the then Nairobi Mayor, Charles Rubia, relocated them to Huruma area in 1974, a massive he fell in love with till today. In the same year he moved in Huruma. Mukaramani intensified his music career and recorded his debut song on July 11 on the eve of the year's general election, done by Andrew Crawford production in a more of a one-man guitar style. The song never made to any charts, making him to go on a music recess amid trials to sign with Joseph Kamaru's Kamaru Super Sounds to revive his talent, career being futile. On one fateful day in 1976, Ernest Kariuki, a successful city businessman, found Mukaramani performing with his guitar at a Nyama Choma joint and was so impressed that he immediately connected him to Kamaru, who was his friend. Kamaru still insisted Mukaramani was not good enough to do music, but decided to give it a try. It's then that Mukaramani got away with a lifetime chance to record with Kamaru's label, where he recorded some of his biggest tunes to the awe of his producer. His fame would then be at its peak and was already a household name. Mukaramani was invited, performed along the big Kikuyu names then, including Kamaru, John Dichu, Waho Menji, and DK, among others. Still in Huruma, as destiny would be, Mukaramani would soon connect with other big names who were dwelling just near him. Talk of S.K. Komani, John Muniko, Pius Kihingo, who moved from Kazarini to Mathar, John Diku and Moses Wanyuaik, who first relocated to Huruma from Murange. They would soon link up and became blossom friends. Whilst signed with Kamaru Super Sounds, Mukaramani started monetizing his talent and a progressive move by creating his own band, Githiga 9 Brothers, under the Teenage label, which later transformed to Mukaramani Brothers alias Mwenyenyo, still under the Teenage label, and later formed his own private record label, Githiga K Sound, and produced himself for the label's debutant two-sided vinyl on side Yuthoni wa Martha and Wagenu on side B, and weeks later they released their second vinyl record. Titled Ruoro Rwagichuhi, Mukaramani would also link up with the legendary music producer Nderitu wa Munin and worked on Uka Mukaramani, Mzi Moja, Nindenuka, and Kairitu Emma. His label was a success that later he formed an affiliated ladies band Mathar Sisters come Mukaramani Sisters. Mukaramani's musical career started heading south when Kamaru's music store and label were closed down and all the music records in their confiscated, rendering Kamaru unable to continue paying the artists signed to him, including Waitheka Mbosh, Mukaramani, Womombi, Kakai Kilonzo, and others. Since then Mukaramani never recovered financially despite his fame spreading all through Kikuyu land. Technology divide seems to hurt him more, having his songs pirated all over the internet. The legendary figure rules the Kikuyu music scene with more than 100 songs to his name. He still have the urge to record more songs, but was so used to the Benga rhythm and laments not many modern studios can create the original Benga beat, but still hopes he will link up with Benga instrumentalists sometime. His discography in a preview. Chuchu Witu, Hambaranda, Yuthoni Wambathi, Umanarua, Mzi Moja, Tuiritu TWA Mathar, Tumarembo, Uka Mukaramani, Ndeshiario